Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 4. Wow. A lot of you came out of the woodwork last night, and let me address a lot of the topics that came up. First of all, I want to say that one of my goals for my original campaign with was to not only help new players learn the game, but also to get advice from players who know more than I do, so that I could then share that advice with new players and everyone benefits. Because as I said, and as I will continue saying, I am not an expert. I have a lot of experience with this game and previous Dominions games, and in some games that would make me an expert. But Dominions is so deep, so technical, so full of flavor and variety that to be an expert is just a huge undertaking that I can't even fathom. So I want to say I really appreciate, I do, in these past few videos, the amount of people who have been educating me and providing me with information that I didn't already know, or better ways of doing things. That's exactly what I'm looking for, and thank you so much. You're not only helping me, but you're helping the community who watches what I do. So, thank you. So let me address some specific things now. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to Chris Lighthawk, who explained to me that protection isn't exactly as I made it out to be. Now, I've always played the game with the notion that protection is kind of like armor class in a Dungeons & Dragons RPG. And it doesn't hurt you, I think, to think of it that way, because really, the higher the protection, the more protected your unit is. That makes a lot of sense. However, there are two different types of protection, and the game unfortunately doesn't differentiate them very well. There's natural protection, which is what you get just from your skin, just from existing. And then there's armor protection. Natural protection is only one number for your entire body, whether it's the tip of your toes or the top of your head. Whereas armor protection is there's torso, there's head, and that might be it. I don't think there's specific armor values for your arms or your legs. But so, what Chris explained to me was a spell that increases natural protection, like stone skin, iron skin, or bark skin, which is also called protection when you cast it on a number of people, only benefits you if you have a low natural protection. So for example, that would really benefit a human unit, because a human unit, regardless of how much armor they are wearing, has a protection of 0, a natural protection of 0 of their skin. According to Chris. Now, if Chris is wrong, please state so in the comments, because it sounds good to me. Whereas, if you were to look at, say, the Obakemono, his natural protection is 11. And I believe. See, I don't know. I don't know if this is his... He has a 7 protection fur, so I don't even know. Basic protection is 7. I honestly can't tell, but according to Chris, the Obakemono, and especially the Kappa... Okay, so the Kappa's not wearing any armor whatsoever, so we know that this protection of 15 is his natural protection. It's based on his skin, not on armor. And so, if I were to cast bark skin on the Kappa, it would do absolutely no good, because he already has a natural protection of 15. However, if I were to cast it on a Daibakemono, who, again, I don't know what his natural protection is, but Chris suggested that it might be lower than what his armor gives him, then it would be a big benefit, because he would not only then have the armor, but he would have the natural protection. But the two do not add together directly. So for example, if you have 10 natural protection and 15 armor, you don't get 25. There's diminishing returns, and the formula by which that's determined is beyond my scope. It's probably something that you won't be able to easily figure out in your head. So, long story short, there is natural protection and there is armor protection, and you should take that into consideration when you determine what spells you're going to cast to protect your units. And still, the higher the protection, this number right here, the better. Okay? Lovely. So the next bit of advice I received was from Corwin, who states that really I should be recruiting a Bakemono sorcerer and having them go out and site search. Corwin is absolutely correct, 100%. A Bakemono sorcerer will be able to site search 4 different paths, costs no gems to do so, and so from a standpoint of efficiency or the greatest bang for your buck, that's exactly what you should do. And for the sake of efficiency, if you are playing a multiplayer game or if you just want to be as efficient as possible, perhaps the AI, you set it to really, really powerful, like Mighty, then that's the way to go. But I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I'm not going to do that. So first of all, you'll recall if you watched my Let's Play that I'm a little OCD when it comes to site searching. It just really bugs me that there's a chance I might miss a site in a province that I search. Kind of like the feeling you get when you leave your home and you're far away and you're wondering, did I lock the front door? You know, that kind of nagging feeling in your mind that nothing you can do about it, but you just feel uncomfortable. Well, that's the way I feel when I site search a province, but I know I didn't fully site search it. Now let me go over again how site searching works. As long as this follows the same pattern as Dominions 3, most sites are level 1. So about half the total magic sites in the world are level 1, which requires a level 1 mage to search for and find. Another 25% are level 2. Okay, so, and the remaining 25% are a mixture of level 3 and level 4, with the vast majority of them being level 3. There are very few level 4 sites total. So if I were to go around and search with this Bakemono sorcerer, he would find roughly 75% of fire sites, roughly 50% of water sites, 75% of earth sites, and 75% of death sites. And it might be higher depending on where his random goes, and that's fine. But that would miss 25%, 50%, 25%, and 25%. And once you site search a province, you're going to forget about it. I mean, you're not going to then later on in the game go, oh, you know what? Let's site search it again with the remote spell to see if we missed any sites, because you're going to be too busy searching new sites and fighting battles. And it's just, when you set them to auto cast the site search spells, I don't believe, at least this was the case in Dominions 3, that they will research a province that you've already searched, even if your previous search wasn't complete. So that's reason 1. Reason 2 is that this is a Let's Play. I'm not just playing myself to have fun or to beat other humans in a multiplayer game. I'm playing to show off the game to potential viewers. Now, while 75% of the sites may be found with a level 2 search, it's the 25% that won't be found that are the really cool, fun sites that I want to show you. Those are the awesome sites who give the best bonuses, that let you recruit the coolest units that you couldn't otherwise get. So I would feel terrible if I missed that and wasn't able to show you that, and let's just say there's one right next to my capital and I never knew. That would really bother me from a Let's Play perspective, because I want you to see it. So that really matters a lot to me. I want to, even if it's less efficient, even if it costs more gems, even if it's slower, even if it's exactly the wrong thing to do in a multiplayer game, that's how I'm going to do it. And finally, my third reason is, if you'll recall, when I set this game up, I jacked up the magic site percentage to 60 from 45. So the odds of there being a really awesome site are even higher than there would be in a normal game. Now, obviously, the vast majority of sites, 75% of them, are just little cheapy sites you see a ton of, like the enchanted windmills and the shimmering fields that give you 1 gem or 2 gems. And those are great. I mean, we need gems. But I'm looking for the game-altering super site. So, Corwin, thank you so much for your feedback. I hope that my rebuttal doesn't prevent you from continuing to provide expert advice, because I certainly need it, the community certainly needs it, and I appreciate it. And let me say again that what Corwin is saying is absolutely right. And in your game, when you're playing at home by yourself or on multiplayer, I highly recommend you do what he says, and you go for the sure thing site search, which is going to quickly and dirtily get you 50 to 75% of all sites, boom, because it's efficient and it's a good way to go about it to get your gem economy going. But these are all the reasons why I'm not going to do that. Okay, so thank you very much. And again, though, Corwin, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please continue to provide information. It means a lot to me. Okay, one other thing is that I believe this was also Lighthawk. He said that it's probably best to put my archers behind my guard troops as opposed to off to the side. I put them off to the side because I believed that arrows from enemy archers are more likely to be fired up the middle and hit your troops in the middle. And I still believe that that's absolutely true. They fire their arrows to your middle forward troops. Now, he said put your archers way back, and that's what I'm going to do. So the arrows are going to hit these guys and not these guys, hopefully. We'll see how it plays out in the battlefield, but he sounds right, so I'm going to do what he says. And he also said move your troops back overall because that gives your archers more time. Now, that's true as well. Some archers have a range, so like for example, they can only shoot a certain distance, and I certainly don't want these guys to run forward in order to try to shoot something and then run in front of my melee troops. So let's hope that since they're undisciplined that doesn't happen. I'll give it a test. But, I mean, that's the real goal there. So, another reason why I also don't always put my troops way in the back is because of my mages. So certain spells like, well, Lightning Bolt has a pretty far range, but Thunder Strike and other spells I was using in my Let's Play have a very short distance, and you want to get the most bang from them as you possibly can. So, if your troop mage is scripted to cast, let's say, 5 spells, and the enemies are so far away that through the first 5 turns of the game, those spells can't be cast, your mage is just going to cast random spells, and by the time your enemies are in range, your mage is off casting their own spells, which are probably completely useless, like protecting itself and, you know, just silly stuff you don't want. So that's tactical consideration. Now, maybe if there was a command that said, hold steady and don't do a thing until enemies are in range, and then start your scripted spells, that would be really interesting. I'd actually like to see that very much. Okay, so that was about, what, 12 minutes of talk and no play? I'm sorry about that, but again, this is really valuable information that I'm glad it was shared with me, and I'm happy to share it with you. Okay, we've got level 3 of Thaumaturgy, and we have Dark Knowledge, which is 1 new site. Oh, by the way, we never looked at the sites we already did find, so let's find those. So we found the Murdering Mire, that's 1 death gem. We found the Catacombs, which is 1 Astral Pearl and 1 death gem, and the Silver Sarcophagus. If I am not incorrect here, this is actually a scary sight, meaning while it gives me these gems, I think it leads to an event where a divine mummy or some kind of horrible creature comes out and butchers all of my troops. I might be thinking about something different, and I sincerely hope that I am. Okay, you can see that Vanarus is moving south. They're starting to become a bit of a pain for me. Mictlan is moving as well, but I don't really care so much about them. If the AI is smart enough to have a really good bless, then Mictlan is going to be trouble. But if they aren't, and I suspect that they aren't, then Mictlan should be pretty easy. Their troops don't have much in the way of armor. Now, but Vanarus has great mages, amazing troops. They're overpowered a little bit, in my opinion, from watching Tokshin play them in it, and his multiplayer LP. So I'm very nervous about that. Moving these guys. I've decided to combine both my armies together to take the tougher armies. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to have specialization. Oh, by the way, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Gus. And since I forgot to go back to my Ubas, I have another commander here. So for those of you who have given your names to be used as a commander, I'm going in order of your comments. So the first person who commented gets the first name, and vice versa, not vice versa, and that continues. So the next commander after Gus is Charles Lasky. Oh wait, no. Charles wants to be Ashura. So we're going to skip Charles and go to Artemis Fowl. Charles, I'll try to get Ashura out as soon as possible for you. Okay, so let's fix that and go back to our mages. And I'd like to get... I have pretty good money, so I'd like to get another castle up as soon as possible so I can start recruiting some of the other commanders and getting things going a bit more. This is starting off a little squidgy, which is my way of saying that it's surprisingly scary to me. I don't necessarily think I'm in a good position. I mean, I have, as long as I keep my troops together, I'm going to have one mega army that's tough, then I should be able to move them around. I mean, my empire's not big enough right now for mobility to be a problem. But really, the goal is to capture one province a turn in the beginning, let's say the first 5 turns or so, and then up to 2 provinces a turn after that. And I'm obviously nowhere near that. This is like, well, Date Masamune just woke up, so this is like turn 12, and I've got, what, 5 provinces? 4? So I'm in very bad shape. But my god is here, and there he is, in all of his glory and wonder. So, since he's the only one with any decent level of Earth... Well, I don't think I can't do Gnome Lore yet. No, I'm not quite there. I need 70, and I have 91, so that's great. Let's figure out what I want to do next. My mages have nature. They don't have air. They have death. They have water. Where's quickness at again? That's way the way down at level 4 alteration. What can we do with evocation? I don't think our Ubas have fire and water. Our Bakemono sorcerers do, but I'm not ready to recruit them yet. Slime, we've seen. Fine arrow. You know, panic is already a pretty decent spell for my 2 nature Ubas to cast. That causes morale penalties in the enemies. Sleep isn't all that bad either. Enchantment would get me poison resistance, healing, animate dead, skeleton. That would be helpful. Personal regeneration. All right, let's get a little bit of enchantment. What is this? Set this down to 70. Well, actually, once we set Date Masamune to research, we should have more than that. Yes, we do. Okay. So let's get that down to 70. No. Okay. All right, perfect. Now let's fix our armies up a little bit. As I said, I'm going to specialize. So we are going to get Bakemono Batman. He is going to lead all of my spearmen. And they are going to stay, hold, and attack closest. Okay. Gus is going to command my archers. And they're going to stay behind the spearmen. Okay. And they're undisciplined, so Gus is just going to kind of hang out with them. Well, they're all kind of going to hang out with them. Bakemono Batman, I'll move up to the front a little bit. And finally, my ogres are going to be Artemis. And they're undisciplined as well. So I'll have them. What I really want from these ogres is I want them to... I don't really know what I want. I want them to be able to... They have a lot of strength, I believe. And I want them to be able to kind of hit the enemy from the side and nail them. But they also have high natural protection, so they might be good for arrow catching. I'm just going to leave them doing what I originally intended right now. I'm leaving off the side to kind of go up through the back. But they are undisciplined, which means that while these guys are holding, these guys are going to swoop up. So let's move them actually back here. So hopefully it'll take them a while to move up to the front. Let's move them as far down and back as we can. Okay. All right. Wonderful. And that's it for now. Well, maybe it isn't. Maybe I should send, like I said, one of my 2 nature Ubas. Sheena. I noticed nobody wanted to be an Uba, but that's okay. Most of the time they just research. And she is going to... Ooh, she's pretty decent, actually. She's going to... Tangle Vines has a range of 15. Panic has a range of 25. Okay, she's going to panic. I mean, she's not going to panic. She's going to cast Panic. Yeah, go out there on the battlefield and panic. Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. Well, Frighten has a range of 50, does it now? So actually, we're going to Frighten twice. 3 times. And then, when the enemies are closer, we are going to panic. Because remember now, we're standing far to the back, and I want my spells to work. Fire. Do you have a missile weapon, Sheena? I don't know what exactly she would fire. That's very odd. I don't even know. But so that's her role, and let's put her there. Well, as close to the front. There we go. Okay. Actually, Bakemono Batman. Let's move you up a little bit too. All right. This looks good to me. This looks good to me, and video's almost over, and we haven't done anything. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad that I took the time to discuss what I did. And of course, since we are taking Sheena off research, we need to go back and fix that again. Okay. Lovely. We still have Dark Knowledge being cast. We don't have any Nature Gems, so casting Haruspex is kind of worthless. We don't have any Fire Mages, so casting Auspex is kind of worthless. So, alright, well, good. Did I mention I wasn't an expert at this nation? I may have. Mictlan declares war on me. That's okay. You're the lamest of all of the enemies that I have. Eyesore has claimed the Throne of Spring. Okay. Let's find out if Eyesore is Mictlan or who. Here's Morn. This is our battle against the Amazons. They may prove to be worthy auxiliary troops if things work out. Okay, Sermon of Courage on the Ogres. Probably not the ones that need it. Griffin Riders are taking my spears. Okay, so you can already see my archers are running up to the front. See, I don't like that. That's what I was trying to avoid, and that's kind of why I had them off to the side instead of to the back. Now, when I upgrade to better archers, this might be a reason to get the more expensive resource-heavy archers, because you can tell them to just hold and fire. That's a possibility. And it seems like my other troops have moved forward fast enough to keep them from being in melee, which is great. Okay, so some of my ogres have been berserked. I like that. Alright, it wasn't the best tactical battle I've ever seen. I lost 7 of my spearmen and 1 of my ogres. But the ogres turned out to be pretty good. And I'm going to stop calling them ogres. They are Bakemono. They are not ogres. Ogres are a completely separate thing. And we are starting to starve, because this is a wasteland. Well, since Mictlan wants to mess with me, let's mess with Mictlan. And you know what? I think I forgot to tell Artemis to hold and stay behind troops. I'm sorry, Artemis. And you were up at the front, too. You could have potentially been hurt. I'm very sorry. Okay. So we're at war with Mictlan. And who are you, Mictlan? You are... Eyesore is Agartha. So Agartha... By the way, Agartha has been buffed in the recent patch, so they should do a lot better in this Let's Play than they did in my previous Let's Play, where they basically just stayed in their home capital and were taken over by independents. We've got Despair. Wow, these are some real sad names here. Despair, Ask. The Atlantis pretender's name is Ask. Okay. And Andre is the pretender for Bogarus or Vanarus. These guys are the ones that scare me down to my boots. I'm very nervous about these guys. And then we have Chico na Huekatl. Well, at least the name is thematic. Okay, so the Throne of Spring, which is a level 1 throne, which gives growth +1, which I like, that has been taken by them. And we're going to find out soon what this throne is. Okay, so we have completed our research into thaumaturgy as far as I think we want to take it for right now. Yeah, charm animal is not something I'm really interested in. So, what now? Enchantment? Maybe one more. I don't know. You know what? I've been thinking construction, I think, because that way we can boost our magician's strengths, and we can start giving our commanders stuff to do in battle instead of just standing there. So definitely no thaumaturgy. Enchantment we only wanted up to the dead animation stuff. Revive King is probably a decent spell to have, and raise skeletons and revenant for our 2 death. So we'll go to level 3 for enchantment. So we'll kind of split 50-50 enchantment and construction. I think that's good for right now. And we're no longer dark knowledging because we have all the dark knowledge that we need, except that we don't, because we just captured a new site. You can never have too much dark knowledge. And you're good at Earth, but I don't want to waste you for casting a site search spell. Now, you could conceivably fully search 3 paths and I'd find every single site. The nature would bug me. Sorry, again, my OCD is avoiding me from being the most efficient here. You know, I know that people who actually have OCD, like that are actually diagnosed with it, take offense to people like me saying things like, oh, my OCD. So I really apologize for that. I don't actually have OCD, and I'm sure it's a condition that one would never want to have, and I don't mean to make light of it. That's certainly not my intention. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. I apologize that this turn wasn't very eventful, but I do think that it was very informative. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and thank you for everyone who left comments. I really appreciate it. That's exactly what I'm looking for, so please continue to do so if you can find the time and inclination. I would thank you very much. Domo arigato. Sayonara.